Alright guys, the other day I put out a poll on my community tab to see if you guys would be interested in some non-Let's Play content. 'Cause I'm not always going to do Let's Plays, and it kind of breaks up the monotony of the content, adds some diversity for you guys. But the one that won, overwhelmingly, when the last time I looked at it, was Faction Guides. So we're going to do this first. We're going to go over Rome and Total War Rome 2. We're going to cover the other Total War games. Also, Empire, Napoleon, Medieval 2, so on and so forth. But we're going to start with Rome because that's what I played the most in Rome 2 and on the channel, obviously. I've done multiple Let's Plays as the Romans. But all of the Roman houses get plus 15% movement range for all armies and plus 2 recruitment slots in all your provinces. So it makes it easier to move your armies around and recruit larger armies. Now, typically I play as a Julia. It gives you plus 15% melee attack against barbarian tribes, so like the Germans, the Gauls, Britons, factions like that. Also, it gives you cultural conversion, so you can get rid of some public order penalties due to certain provinces you've conquered not being a part of your culture. You could also do Junia, which is what I was playing as on stream, which gives you public order bonus, maximum of 6 from presence of Latin culture, and then plus 30% wealth generated from agricultural buildings, which is fairly decent. Now, if you don't like fighting the battles, and you kind of want to play a campaign in like really fast on normal or easy difficulty, if you just want to play Rome 2, I would say play as Cornelia because you can Rewariai spam, because you get 50% upkeep cost for auxiliary units, well, minus 50%. So you can essentially have armies for basically like less than 500 gold for upkeep per turn if you do it right. Also, you get minus 50% public order penalties due to presence of foreign cultures, so you won't have to deal with that aspect. Today, we're going to go over to Julia. I want to go over how I would play out the first couple of turns. Nothing particularly long or in-depth. I'm going to do normal, so I will see you on the campaign map. Alright, starting off, you have a mission from the Senate. Well, not from the Senate, but regardless, you have a mission to completely control 2 provinces, either by direct ownership of your client states or military allies, and you'll receive 2,500 gold for doing it. You're making 2,600 per turn with a starting treasury of 5,000. Now, as Rome, you initially start out at war with the Etruscan League. They own Corsica and 2 cities north of Rome. They're pretty easy to wipe out, don't really have any issues with it, and you start off with 2 armies. You have the 2nd Legion up here, which will be your main legion to take out the Etruscans. And you have 1 army down here being the 1st, guarding your path to Sicily, and almost all of your cities can be upgraded. So the first thing I do in Rome 2, when I play as Rome, is I get rid of the leaves, because they're just really bad and I don't enjoy using them. And if I want skirmisher units off the bat, I want the Velites. So, in Brundisium, you start off with a Field of Mars, a military raft, a city for Brundisium, and you have a village in Consentia. So what I would do first is build a consecrated ground so you're able to help give you some better public order. And then in Italia, what I like to do is move the merchant up to scout near Valerfi. There's always an Etruscan army right here. They'll typically move it after the first turn. But coming into Rome, I like to do... It really depends on what you want. If you want to have a lot of trade from commerce, you can go Neptune. I think it's Vulcan that does agriculture, right? No, Vulcan is entertainment. Mars gets you wealth for slaves and plus 5 unit morale upon recruitment. That's really good, especially early games, since you'll be recruiting a lot of your troops from Rome. Jupiter gives you plus 4% wealth from all sources and a higher tax rate if you use a tax harvesting edict. Typically, I will either go for Mars or Jupiter off the bat. You can change these at any point, depending on how your campaign develops. But for the sake of this, we're going to go with Mars. We're not going to expand Rome yet. Technology, the first 2 technology I always get is supply reforms and land management. I do supply reforms first just because it gives you the ability to get manipular barracks so you can get some cavalry going. Also, politically, you start off fairly fine on normal difficulty. You don't lose any bonuses you don't lose any loyalty for playing on normal. On hard, you lose 15. On Legendary, you lose 25, and on the very hard, I think you lose 20. So, if you're somebody like me, who does not enjoy the political system of Rome 2, don't play your campaign difficulty on anything higher than normal. But battle difficulty, you can put it on whatever. Because that's the only thing I've noticed from playing on harder difficulties is that the political system just becomes more tedious. It's not hard to deal with, it's just tedious and I don't want to deal with it. But for those of you like me who don't want to deal with it, as long as this number, the loyalty number, is above 0 for all your houses, you will never have to worry about a civil war. You can click through here, not right now because you have 20 turns of protection, but after that you can come through here, do secure loyalty, and upgrade your characters. Also, if you're playing as a Julia, your main army starts off in your factions, so you're able to level up your faction leader that way. So one thing I like to initially do, politically, is just start building up loyalty in the lowest faction, which is Cornelia. So what we could do is it costs us 1,200 to increase Cornelia's loyalty, but we haven't recruited any units yet. So what I like to do is get 2 Velites and then 2 more Hastati, leaving us to 1,700. So we are able to secure loyalty of Cornelia, putting their loyalty up to 14, 17, and 19, respectively. Now, the Navy, I'm not really keen on keeping after we take Corsica. But for right now, we are going to have our agent go to steal food so we get food. And then from here, because we're broke, we're going to end turn. You can try to get trade agreements, but in Vanilla Rome 2, most factions don't really want to trade with the Romans. Even though this faction is kind of neutral towards us, the odds are low. Almost nowhere will trade with us because almost everywhere hates Rome. Doesn't matter if it's Massilla or any of those tribes. Well, Massilla might actually do it. Let's see. No, they rejected it. You might be able to get it if you're able to pay them a little bit, which we have some money left over. No, they're still not going to do it. So, anyway, let's go to turn 2. Alright, here on turn 2, we have 3,000 to work with. We don't have to do anything politically because we're fine for 20 turns, so don't worry about that right off the bat. Now, in Neapolis, we have an olive grove, so if we upgrade that, that will generate us +2 food, give us some growth and some public order, while giving the city a better garrison for 1,400, so let's do that. We can move our army up, and then we can take Valerfi. Their army might still be around for your guys' playthrough. We're not going to fight this for the sake of time. And honestly, it's kind of not worth fighting. So we'll take this city, which is honestly fine. My phone just went off. Hopefully that doesn't end up in the recording, but it's fine if it does. Now, when you take a city in Rome 2, you have the option to occupy, loot, and raise. I will never do raise or loot, just because of public order issues. I will always occupy. Then we're able to just sit here for a turn. Now, because we took Valerfi, you get wine, and wine helps you give public order and gives you public order to all of your provinces. So even down in Magna Graecia, which is a separate province, down here, these 2 cities, Brundisium and Consentia, will get +2 public order just for having that wine resource. Just honestly really strong. Now, the next thing I would do is build up a public forum so you're able to get an amphitheater for public order, stuff like that. We'll go over that here in a second. And then from Neapolis, I would like to get a harbor so you're able to get more maritime commerce. But also in Valerfi, I want to get a villa so we get money for agriculture and get more food going. So next turn, we're going to have our army keep marching that way. Our spy can move to Eribinum and scout it for us. Which, that's where their army went. Another thing you can do if you have the money is get another spy, but we don't need that just yet because we're broke. So, let's get another unit, or a couple more units of Hastati because they're going to be recruiting over here. And then after your generals win battles, you get upgrades for either your legion, which we don't have in this case, or for your general. Off the bat, I always do commander just to build up a 40, but let's go over to turn 3. Alright, so now we got our supply reforms done. So immediately, we're going to go for our land management. Now, our army is stronger than where it was last time, so we're able to come over to Ariminum. Now, you're not going to be invaded from Sicily, so you can set this army, the force march, and move it up. And you'll be able to start recruiting units to take Aililia before they're able to build up there. Our navy can't take it by itself, I'm like 90% sure, because all we have is leaves and they're kind of crap units. Yeah, definitely can't take that because of the garrison army. So our navy can honestly just pull back. With this army, it's on force march, so we can't recruit, but we can replace this general. We can get him back. He's from Cornelia, but we can get him back in a different army later. Right now, we still want to use somebody from Cornelia. We just want a cavalry general instead of a triarii. That's my personal preference. I like my generals to be cavalry units. Now, moving on, we are able to upgrade our field of Mars now to Manipular Barracks to let us get some cavalry going. And down here in Brundisium, we can make this. We want to get Neptune down here, because eventually... Oh, do we want Neptune? Oh, we'll build Neptune at Ariminum for trade. Down here, we should probably do... We'll do Minerva just to get a faster research rate, so we can get that stuff done. While building up public order. So let's move into the next turn. One of our politicians returned home that might have affected the loyalty, which luckily it didn't. Since you have money, you can just boost up their loyalty now. But we only have 2,500, and we still have to take Ariminum. Their army moves south, which is honestly expected. But now we're able to take Ariminum, and we can make this a trade city. The trade node coming out of here to the east, and the eastern part of the map is a lot richer than the western part. So one thing you're able to do here is turn this into a harbor, so we're able to build up money from trade. And we could build up an Ariminum if we wanted to. But we're not. We're actually going to garrison Neapolis in case the army comes down. And we're going to recruit some troops. Because we have to deal with this army before we're able to take Aililia. And the navy can move back. Honestly, the navy doesn't have to move. It's just better to. Now, I'm going to end turn again, because we really don't have anything to do. We could try to get some trade going, but really early on, almost nobody wants to trade with the Romans. But if we had to, they're minus 15, we could be sending diplomats also, diplomatically, to help do that. And also, after you take Ariminum, you're able to issue an edict. So, which you have some options. You could do Romanization, where we don't have to convert anything. Commercial stimulation, get building from commerce buildings, bread and games, which is 4 food plus 4 public order. It's fairly decent off the bat. You get party loyalty plus 10 public order to rule, or plus 10 loyalty to the political party ruling this province. Or you can get more taxes. I like to do bread and games off the bat just to get the 4 food. So we will end turn and we'll try to destroy this army next turn. Alright, their navy sallied out to fight us. I don't like fighting naval battles, and I'm not going to fight any battles in this video just for the second time. But we can destroy their navy right off the bat. Eventually, we are going to disband this navy. Now, we have the option to release, enslave, or kill. Slaves will make you money, but they can cause public order issues. So, off the bat, early on, until you have about 3 provinces, I wouldn't worry about slaves. I would just release the captives and get extra money for your actual turn. Their army's moving down to Neapolis, and this army is built up. We could probably beat it if we fought it. And if we set this army to force march, we can destroy this army this turn. Because we're going to be able to sandwich it between Neapolis' garrison, our 2nd Legion, and the 1st Legion. It's going to run away, but we're able to reach it still. And we're still within reinforcement range of our army. So we can destroy this. When you're auto-resolving, always go with everyone's going to keep your army at the highest percentage. So you take less casualties. From here, again, we're going to release it because we don't want to deal with that. So we're at 4,000. The other armies... Well, the 2nd army is going to move over into the water, so we can start conquering that way. Let's get it. Honestly, we don't have to recruit anything there yet. This army needs more skirmishers, though. And let's get 2 more Hastati, so we don't have to worry about that. And we can upgrade this General's Tradition. Make him a better commander, and we can give him +1 authority for this household. Our other general doesn't have any upgrades, but we do have the ability to research more technology. And off the bat, what I like to do is go for manipulator organization, so you get more ammunition, and then the next one you get will lower your upkeep for your armies, making you more money. Now, we can upgrade this to a harbor, but it'll cost 1,600, which is really worth it if you're planning to go off trade. And now, politically, we can try to send out some diplomats to factions that like us, so we're able to get more trade. So if we send one... Massilla was willing to trade with us, so we send a diplomat to Massilla. We can promote to build up more loyalty, but it will make the other houses not like us as much. And you can also gather influence -2 loyalty for the other parties during your protection period, which will give you some bonuses if you come back over here. The higher you get your influence, the more bonuses you get. But anyway, let's go to the next turn. Alright, now that we have Manipulator Barracks, we can actually upgrade some units. I don't like going for Principes off the bat because both it and Hastati just become Legionaries eventually anyway. And paying the extra 20-some upkeep honestly isn't worth it in my opinion. So what I like to do is get between 3 and 4 Equites, and then get Triarii, just for Spearmen to deal with enemy cavalry. But we're not going to spend that. We're going to see if we can't get some trade now, since we sent a emissary to Massilla.
Be welcome here and speak as you...
So they accepted it, so now we're generating some more money. Liqueria might trade. It's unlikely. Even if we paid them like 500, I don't think they're going to trade with us. Yep. Nope. You just gotta play with it depending where you send your diplomats. They may or may not trade. Now, if you get one that says hi, like the Venetti here, you can try to squeeze them for some money. Let's see if we can get 1,000 or 500. And we got some free money for that. Which means we're able to come back into the political tab and send more diplomats out. Now, you can entice, try to get somebody to come over, but it's honestly not worth it right now. I would rather just send a diplomat and try to get trade elsewhere. So let's try to get trade with Athens. Just try to make it better. Now, with our leftover money, if you have the money, you can secure loyalty if you want, or just save it. We're going to save it. This army is going to be fairly good, and then eventually we're going to come over here and take Corsica before the Etruscans are able to build up some more. This army I want to leave up here to watch against the Northern Barbarians. And in Ariminum, we're going to build a meeting place for public order, or you could do a pit mine for wealth. At this point, it's honestly probably better to do the pit mine to start getting money that way. And then let's go next turn. Alright, so our diplomat didn't get to go anywhere, but we might be able to get trade with Athens. Maybe if we pay, we can get some moderate. Let's try like 800. No, they'll trade eventually, though. You just gotta keep trying to get some trade agreements. You guys get the gist of how to do that. So let's get the army on force march to start going towards Aulilia. And we're going to keep the navy with it just to keep it in reinforcement range. This army, we can move up to the border. And then for the next technology, we're going to get the one that reduces upkeep. Then we'll do some civil stuff. But let's get some cavalry for it. It doesn't need to be anything particularly fancy. Moving on from here, we have some buildings we have the option to build. We can't build any of these because we don't have the technology yet. But you have the option to do a cattle trader, which will get you plus 120 wealth from local commerce and 10% wealth from agriculture. So it will boost up this and this by 10%, which is fairly strong. You could get a wealth or a slave trader. Once you get the technology, you could get a delectician for wealth from local commerce plus 5 food, but we really don't need the food. Or you could get an amphitheater, which will give you plus 5 public order, but we're near Rome. We don't have to really deal with public order. So honestly, the best one to get is probably the cattle trader, which will do that next turn. So now sitting here, there's nothing we can do politically. So we're going to save our money, then we're going to intern. So we're still making about 1900 per turn. We're going to lose some money as we got some Equites. Liquoria look like they could be coming to invade us. So let's reposition the army here in case they try anything. Our main army is going to keep sailing, but we can't reach it yet. So what we're going to do is put it on double time right over here. And then we're going to see if we can win it if we have our navy attack. We should be able to destroy their navy, minimum. And then we might be able to attack Alia, or Alalia, whatever the pronunciation of this city is. We can definitely... We're going to do release captives, just because we don't want any negative public order yet. And if we attack, we aren't within reinforcement range. I actually select to fight the battle. We're not going to fight the battle. I'm going to back out and reload us to this point. Alright, we took no losses, but our fleet will fall back, which is completely fine. We'll be able to take it next turn with the army regardless. So now we have 3,000. And we can upgrade our navy after doing that. So we can get... Let's form melee attack for all ships, which we don't have any in there right now. So let's get that one. From here, let's get an admiral, even though we're going to disband our navy as soon as we take Alalia. We don't have to build up any more in this army. One thing I do want to do is, since loyalty is starting to drop, we can secure loyalty this turn. Even though we're still protected, I don't want it to drop below 10. And then let's have our... Let's start having some other characters get married so we're able to get more potential diplomats, which I think we're out of money. No, but we can send a diplomat. Let's send it to Athens, and then let's intern. Alright, their navies came out to attack us, or their army. They're getting reinforced by their navy in garrison, so we're just going to retreat. They're not going to come attack. So what we're going to have to do is get our army on land to deal with this. And political intrigue. From Athens, we were returned with a generous tribute, so our relations with Athens is most likely gone up to being 13. So they might trade with us now if we send them a little bit of money. No. Let's try to get the trade agreement. Your mileage might vary when it comes to trade agreements. Now you're still not going to trade, so we're going to have to send another diplomat over there. Here, let's get the army... Actually move up, and we're going to go around to land the army over here. Just from where I messed up that last turn. But now sitting here, we can send some diplomats out. So we're going to send, well, we can either embezzle funds to gain money, but we'll lose loyalty for that, which we don't want to do. So let's send a diplomat to Carthage. We can send a diplomat to Athens. We can send a diplomat to Sparta because they're starting to like us more. We still have 5,000. So since we got the generous tribute and we have some unexpected money, let's just go ahead and secure loyalty in the other two parties. It's just to keep the loyalty up so we don't have to deal with it at the end of the 12 turns. But this video will be over before that. So let's see what else we're able to do. Another thing we could do is do favors and send gifts to help build up loyalty, since we have extra money. But now let's end the turn and let's hopefully get on Corsica this turn. Stay move some units away. So one thing we're definitely going to be able to do is come to our technology tab, technology tab, and we're going to go for iron tools and get +2 wealth from agriculture buildings. And we want to turn this, it really depends on what you need. If you need food, you can go for the farm. Grain pits offer you 100 wealth and army replenishment while giving you 4 food. And then the farm will give you 5 food and 100 wealth generated from livestock. So it really depends on whichever one you want. For the sake of this video, and to make sure we have more food, we are going to go for the farm. And we're going to upgrade our wine just for public order in all provinces and get some extra money going. And we should be able, if not next turn, be able to land on Corsica. Yep. We're able to land on Corsica, so next turn we're able to take this army out of force march and take the city. As long as our navy doesn't get destroyed, it'll be a lot easier. Now, coming into Rome, so if you want wealth from agriculture, we could do this to get an additional 10% wealth, which is honestly probably the best one to do right now. And we're out of money again, so let's end turn. Alright, we got a Peter victory. I took way more casualties than I should have, but the terrain was kind of bad. But we destroyed their army, which is what's more important, and we should be able to destroy them in the end turn. But we're going to release the captives again. If we have to, we can recruit some mercenaries to help us take the city. Have our navy fall back, because we're going to need them. Now more than ever. If their navy's chasing our fleet, then we're going to be able to pull our navy back around. We are able to get some mercenaries, which typically you don't have to do this, playing as Rome. Let's get some Italian spearmen. And we're going to go destroy what's left of their armies. This will also force out their garrison, so we're going to go with our remaining force of 70%. Release their captives again. And then we will destroy both their armies. If not, make the one run away. So now we can put our navy. Or our navy's not going to be able to reinforce, but we should be able to take the city. Which will eliminate the Etruscan League. After we destroy their navy and their last army. Which is really just a mop-up operation. There's not really a whole lot to go into detail with at that point. But we're going to keep the mercenaries for now. But typically you won't have them. But anyway. After doing the Etruscan League, you have some directions you can expand, and this is entirely up to you. You can go north, take northern Italy, take the Alps, fight the Gauls, or you can go fight Carthage immediately. But that is up to you, and I will let you guys figure that out for yourselves. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Showed you how I go about eliminating the Etruscan League, explained some stuff for you. But anyway, peace.